Hello everybody and welcome back to the chassis variant series of myself, Critical Rocket. We're getting closer to Christmas and we're also getting closer to finishing the clan lights for the series. Yes, this is the beginning of the Cougar part of the series. Now the Cougar is a fondly remembered battle mech from MechWarrior's days, as well as also being a popular mech on the tabletop. First debuting in the Battle for Coventry, which was for after the clan invasion. When Jade Falcon needed a new light omni-mech, but they didn't want to necessarily use the resources that was involved in creating a brand new omni-mech, so they took the adder and they built a new chassis from that, using bits and pieces basically to save money and also to increase production time. The result was the Cougar, which was a mech that had a generally well-received pilot reaction and relatively powerful weaponry, given again the size and the weight of the mech. So it's 35 tons, and this is the C variant, which is an interesting little setup because it's a Gauss rifle complemented by 5 ER medium lasers, so it can engage at pretty much any range if needs be. Obviously the downside is it's extremely hot, but its damage potential is quite high at the same time. The C version oh, excuse me. It does tend to lack a little bit of ammunition because the Gauss rifle is so big and obviously does need a fair amount of tonnage to give it some worthwhile amounts of ammo. But it's pretty decent overall. Looking at the actual historical side of it, I can't remember if there's any other bits and pieces that were of interest. Oh, yeah, apart from the fact that it was designed with the idea of longevity in mind on the field, meaning that even if it does run out of ammunition for its Gauss weaponry, it can still do a lot of damage with its 5ER mediums. In MechWarrior Online, it's the variant of the Cougar that comes with the most energy hardpoints, has 5 in total, and the single ballistic in the right arm, I think it is, right or left, I think it might be the left. Let me double check that for you. Yes, left arm, sorry. 4 energy in the right and the single energy in the head, which obviously brings up an issue with the Cougars, is that a good amount of the heavier weaponry are going to be based in their arms, so like the adders, you've got to protect those arms or they'll fall off. I have actually felt that the Cougars do seem to have less armor. I think that is actually a fact. I think they have less armor than the adders, or at least they don't feel like they can tank as much by any stretch. They certainly feel like they could do more damage, but also die a lot quicker. So I would definitely keep an eye on your armor levels when you're engaging targets, and it might be best to use the Cougar in a supporting role with larger mechs in the middle of a fight, or to skirt the edges of the battlefield and try and pick targets and harass them, trying to blow off limbs and damaging areas that might be of importance, such as hunchback side torsos, that kind of thing. As it trying to go toe-to-toe with another mech doesn't really feel like it ever comes out on top of that exchange. Definitely feels like it's on the losing end. Given the fact that it's so low to the ground as well, and the arms are lower down, you do also have to be aware that you have to expose pretty much the entirety of the mech to get a good shot off. So remember your sight lines and the terrain around you when you do decide to engage a target. And yeah, that's pretty much the C in a nutshell. I enjoyed it. I like the potential of the Charlie variant. It kind of reminds me of playing the Kit Fox A, which sadly isn't in MechWarrior Online. I wish it was. So we can have some nice sort of A-based quirks. But the Kit Fox A is a dual ER medium and a Gauss build, and this is, you know, kind of along the similar lines, just more weaponry to go alongside the Gauss. And the damage potential of them is quite good because not many people expect such a light mech to be carrying a Gauss rifle, and I can't remember if it is in fact the Cougar or it might possibly be the Kit Fox A. It's one of those two that inspires the Innosphere to build the Hollander, which is their light mech that only carries a Gauss rifle, but the Hollander was always a cool mech visually, and I would be very happy to see that added to MechWarrior Online if they ever do get around to filling out more of the gaps there. Excuse me, it's very early in the morning, still waking up. So we're also looking at another match on Grim. I was trying this match for a majority of the time to keep sort of the bigger mechs down, because obviously they get hit by a Gauss rifle, they they move back a bit and reposition. But it slowly starts to turn against us, and it doesn't really matter how well we were doing from a sniping standpoint. The actual when the brawl started to hit us, that was when things started to go bad. I think we were just out of position really, or we just didn't counter them very well. I will say though that my damage output was pretty good for the team, especially for this Cougar. I think it was 416 or 417, something like that, which I can't remember, was like second or third highest for damage. So either everyone else on my team was having a bad day, or I just actually had a half decent run with the old Cougar. But yeah, it's a cool mech. If you haven't tried out the Cougar, I would recommend it. It is available for C-bills now, so you don't have to worry about picking up any of the variants for mech credits or whatever, because I bought the last 2 variants for this series with C-bills to record it. And so far it's been a fun mech. It's a nice alternative to the Adder, and it's certainly a good old jape to be having here with this clan light. As the clan lights, I feel, are powerful but also very limited in their diversity. You know, the Innisphere have got that advantage of there's just more mechs. The Innisphere have just got more choice, whereas the clans don't quite have as much going for them with regards to variety. Usually because they're Omnitech, it means they don't need to build as many mechs, because, well, we've got this, we'll just reconfigure it to do that job instead, you know. So, yeah, there is that bonus that the clans have, but it means that they don't have as many battle mechs. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, as I said, it's like my nose is very bad today. I don't know if I'm getting a bit of a cold or not, I hope not. That would suck, especially in the week just before the final stream of the year. Before we take a break for the Crimbo holidays. Won't mean the end of video series. The chassis series will continue next week. There will be a Jenna 2C series of vids going up alongside a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, keep your eyes out for that. And I think we're coming up to the end of the round. Yeah, it looks it. So I would recommend the Charlie. It's good energy variants. Nice to have that spare ballistic, and it's a bloody good laugh. So yeah, thanks for watching everybody. Hope you have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.